What has glowing red eyes, lurks in the shadows, and is as bloodthirsty as a vampire? This monstrous creature kills wild animals and livestock, especially goats, sucks the animal's blood, and leaves the carcass behind. Or does it? Sometimes the poor victim is torn to shreds, or its throat is so ravaged that its head remains tilted to one side. Mostly, only one animal is attacked, but sometimes there are as many as 27 carcasses scattered around the poor farmer's camp or pen. A policeman investigating a similar attack on livestock saw a chupacabra in the woods near the scene. The creature stared intently at the officer with its bright orange eyes. The policeman sensed that the creature was extremely evil and developed a headache and dizziness. Apparently, people have also reported experiencing headaches and even nausea on other occasions. Since the phenomenon was first reported in South America, and the dead animals at that time were mostly goats, it was given the name Chupacabra. Chupa is the Spanish word for suck, and cabra, the word for goat. The name thus literally means goat sucker, because the chupacabra sucks the goat's blood. With this, the chupacabra was added to the list of bloodsuckers alongside Dracula. I won't say anything about vampires now, but hopefully, this video will unravel the chupacabra phenomenon. When and where did the legend of the chupacabra originate? No, not thousands of years ago. The first report was about an incident in Arizona in about 1956. After several cruel attacks on farm animals in the small town of Mocha in Puerto Rico during 1975, the name El Vampiro de Mocha, or the Vampire of Mocha, was given to the phenomenon. In the 1990s, the incidents began to increase in both number and scope. Most of the attacks took place in Puerto Rico and surrounding South American countries. However, there have also been a few incidents reported in the southern United States. What does the chupacabra look like? Here is where the story starts to get interesting. Initial reports described the creature as about 1 meter tall, with fiery eyes and sharp teeth. It moved on 4 legs and had a long tail. Over time, the chupacabra grew to between 1.3 and 1.7 meters tall. That's about the size of a small or young bear. The eyes still glowed but were now larger and resembled the eyes of many aliens in sci-fi films. Long, sharp spines also grew on the back from the neck to the tailbone. Still 4 legs, but it began to mostly walk upright. And left a foul smell behind. The skin is leathery and almost hairless with many folds, often resembling a reptile with clumps of hair. Sometimes it was also reported to have wings. Or to be able to change color or have large ears. A cartoonist changed the name from El Vampiro de Mocha to Chupacabra, and that's the name under which the phenomenon is now known worldwide. What is the chupacabra? How did it originate? Of course, it's an extraterrestrial creature's pet that accidentally remained on Earth. Or it's a failed experiment where extraterrestrial DNA was crossed with some earthly creature, and this poor animal escaped and enjoys its freedom by killing and sucking blood. Fortunately, scientists were able to obtain and examine several alleged chupacabra carcasses. These carcasses were all identified as known animals. This includes dogs, wolves, jackals, and even raccoons. Why would these known animals be mistaken for something completely different? Due to mange, the poor animal can lose almost all of its fur. The skin dries out and sometimes turns gray in color and forms folds. The few hairs that remain often stand stiff and straight, and from a distance, can resemble spikes. It's a painful disease that weakens the animal, forcing it to attack the easier prey, the farm animals. This explains the original, smaller descriptions provided by eyewitnesses of the chupacabra, but what about the larger chupacabra that walks on its hind legs? Researchers attribute this description to Madelyne Tolentino of Puerto Rico. One night in 1995, she fleetingly saw a creature move on its hind legs near her house in San Juan. Her description of the creature served as a blueprint for many of the eyewitnesses who followed her. Writer Benjamin Radford determined in his 2011 book, Tracking the Chupacabra, that Tolentino had seen and described the chupacabra a month after she had seen the film, Species. Her description of the chupacabra closely matched that of the character Sil in the film. The character certainly also influenced other observers. So, is the chupacabra just a myth? That there were, or still are, beings that attack farm animals and not always eat them is a fact. That people often see strange phenomena that are then described as chupacabras is also a fact. The majority of the incidents can be attributed to mange-ridden predators or feral dogs, but the image of the creature with spines on its back and walking on its hind legs will be with us for a long time. Depictions of this chupacabra can be seen on coffee mugs, t-shirts, hats, and even in animated films for children. And who knows, perhaps one day someone will discover a real chupacabra.